Welcome back to another episode of Over the Top. Your boy Max here. We got Bubs in the building. Plenty to get into this week, y'all.
Super Showdown from Jeddah has come and gone.
Yes, it has.
Raw Smackdown underperformed once again, in my opinion. And we're coming fast approaching Stomping Ground, June 23rd. Let's get to it. Let me hear your takes on some of the matches that we saw at Super Showdown.
So as you know, I didn't watch it in real time. I did glance at it on the network after the fact. I was not going to be counted in the ratings, but I had to watch just for, informational purposes. So my opinions can be valid for you all. You did keep me posted though. He was sending me messages and updates on what was going on in real time. So I wasn't all the way out of the loop, but when I did look on the internet to kind of clarify and verify my feelings on it, I found it quite interesting what Bleacher Report had to say as well about some of these matches. Goldberg lost to The Undertaker. We both called that out, first of all. I'm gonna say that. Bleacher Report gave some grades on these matches, and I think for the most part they're pretty accurate. Let me share some of these with you. So on that Goldberg match, they gave it a D-. I mean, we'll get into why later. Seth Rollins' victory over Baron Corbin for the Universal Championship. Failed cash-in by Brock Lesnar during that match. They gave that a B+. Kofi Kingston's victory over Dolph Ziggler. They gave that match a B-. Brock Lesnar, they didn't grade that, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a D. Just a solid D, because I think it was poorly executed. I found it funny. It was a little funny, but it could have been executed a lot better. There was a moment in there. I could just tell gaps whenever people are either out of position or something happened too early or too late. And It was one of those moments where they had to improvise in the moment because something went wrong.
Right.
So moving forward, we got the Demon Finn Balor's victory over Andrade Cien Almas. We're just calling him Andrade now, B+. Randy Orton's victory, you called this over Triple H, B+. Braun Strowman defeats Bobby Lashley. They gave that a C+. The Usos, they fought the Revival and they won. I didn't catch that one, but Bleacher, they gave that one there a C+. Roman Reigns loses to Shane McMahon. That one caught us both off guard, but pretty typical from the WWE, C-. Lucha House Party, I know that we both didn't care much for this match, but I figured Lars Sullivan was going to win, and he won by disqualification. They gave that match a C+, which I think is just being nice. And then Mansoor, the native of Saudi Arabia, who we didn't have a clue was going to be in the match. I'm familiar with his character. I had spoke about him before to you.
Yep.
He wins the 50-man Battle Royal, and I think it was they did that pretty well. In my opinion, they gave that match a D. I won't dispute that grade, but I will say that he was in the mix here and there. He was getting beat up by the main roster guys, so it wasn't making it. It was to where it was just like he was an afterthought the whole time until they got pretty much down to the last 8. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They would show him almost get eliminated and he'd catch his balance and get back in. Nothing spectacular though. No. It's like he's supposed to be this regular guy who just caught a break. And I think that they're actually doing that very well with his character, but that's also always the case with people in NXT. So we're just gonna have to see what happens moving forward. Hometown native wins, D, I agree with the grade. What about you? How do you feel?
So the best match by far, and I give it an A+, was Randy Orton and Triple H. These two, in my opinion, put on a great show. I also called that one. It was really, really well done. Randy Orton wins. The Demon versus Andrade, it lived up to the hype for me. It was a good match. Bleacher said it was a B+. I would agree with that. It was just too predictable having the Demon win because it's the Demon. Right?
Yeah.
I hope we get another showing of just Finn Balor, the man, against Andrade at Stomping Ground. They haven't completely committed, I don't think, but I think we'll see that again. Jump into that battle royal like you're talking about. I didn't really care for it. at the beginning it was way too messy. Way too many guys in the ring at one time. You could hardly see. Some guys didn't even get spots. They were just chucking guys left and right because it was a mess. I feel that Mansoor winning is just giving Saudi Arabia
cheesy.
Another, giving them what they want, like not having the women there and not having some of these other superstars there.
And he mentioned, you was asking me who he was, and he mentioned, just like I told you, that
right.
he was out there the year before as a NXT superstar to be.
Yeah.
He had just gotten out of the Performance Center.
Yes.
And had won a competition they had over there to become a WWE superstar. I think they beat up on Elias or somebody like that night.
I believe it was Elias.
You know, and now you fast forward, and he talked about it in his speech. So yeah. Being a pretty cheesy move.
Yeah. The Lucha House Party versus Lars Sullivan sucked. I do like the twist.
I think that was the match I fast forwarded through.
You probably did. It wasn't much. But I do like the fact that Lucha stood up for themselves and won by DQ. But then they just got destroyed again after the match. It's just ridiculous. Shane cheats to win by Drew McIntyre. Claymore kicking because the ref got hit in the face. Bunch of crap. That match, all in all, was pretty garbage in my opinion. Does set up a good match for Stomping Ground with Drew McIntyre facing Roman Reigns one-on-one. That should be decent. Usos versus the Revival. I think it was their sloppiest match to date. Didn't really care for it. It was on the pre-show. Lashley versus Strowman wasn't great to me either. I think Kofi versus Dolph was better than a B-. I give the match a B+ or an A-, but then the ending I would definitely give like a D. The ending where Xavier kind of cheats to help Kofi win. I didn't care for that ending, but it does give us a cage match at Stomping Ground that I'm really looking forward to. Interested to see what takes place there. Rollins versus Corbin was better than I expected. I'm going to give them credit where credit's due, especially Baron Corbin in this match. I thought that was good, but the win wasn't clean. You know, the referee kind of pushed Baron Corbin, and Corbin got rolled up. So I think the sloppy ending forces a rematch at Stomping Ground. Like I said, we're getting a lot of these repeats for Stomping Ground. And the match of the night goes to Goldberg and Undertaker because it was slow, sloppy, dangerous at times. The Undertaker almost broke Goldberg's neck at the end of the match. Come to find out, Goldberg said he blacked out in the match. Let's talk about a few potential rivalries we think the WWE should do. Give me some choices. I'll give you some choices. What do you have for me? What are we thinking?
So, after observing the wrestlers over the past few weeks, the storyline outlines the ones that are happening and the ones that are not. I come up with a list for you guys, you know, here and there. So what I got for you this time, my friend, Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. We might have briefly seen this one before, but I wouldn't mind seeing that again. Another one I have on here listed, this one's in the women's division. Nikki Cross versus Alexa Bliss. They are buddies right now, but we all know how it goes with Alexa. Samoa Joe, your boy, versus the A-lister, The Miz. The Miz, he's going to be around for a while, whether you love him or you hate him. Same with Samoa Joe. Another one I have listed, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Aleister Black. Aleister hasn't had an official match yet ever since going solo on the main roster, and he's been begging for a challenge and begging for somebody to accept that challenge, actually. He's been issuing a challenge that no one has yet to accept. And the last one on here, two legends. You got the legend, The Undertaker, and the legend killer, Randy Orton. Personally, I want to see Shinsuke and Aleister Black go at it. I think that'd be pretty dang good. What you got for me?
Well, to answer your list here, I'm gonna pick one that I think you hit the nail on the head. Is Samoa Joe versus The Miz. I think that could be really good. Both of these guys are top class in the business. It would get The Miz away from Shane McMahon, which I want everyone to get away from Shane McMahon, as I keep saying week after week. Get The Miz away from Shane McMahon and have him focus on a title picture, United States title. The Miz getting after a title is always a good television. Samoa Joe could be the least talking guest ever to be on Miz's show. I think it could make for good TV. So I would say that one, to me, after hearing you say it, kind of piqued my interest.
Oh, okay.
And mentioning Aleister Black like you did, my list is all somebody versus Aleister Black. Because I want somebody to answer that call. Because I think Aleister Black is really good. His promos have been awesome so far.
It's one of the first things I ever heard about him was that he was great at that.
Yes, so he's calling somebody out, begging somebody to accept the challenge. First off, I could see Randy Orton against Aleister Black. I could see another creepy, crawling, mysterious guy. Finally, can we get some Bray Wyatt in the ring? Please. Talk about two guys going at it promo for promo. That could, in itself, could be a title-worthy. You know, they don't even have to step in the ring, and these guys can be throwing punches just by having great promos, attacking each other week after week. And then leads up to a pay-per-view where they finally square off. And then I also, interestingly, listed Shinsuke Nakamura versus Aleister Black because I think their styles could really go well together.
And Shinsuke can play mind games. He might not speak that much English, but the little bit he does speak can piss you off.
Yes, I agree 100% with that. So out of those three, I mean, give me Bray Wyatt, more Bray Wyatt, and more Aleister Black. I'd love to see them.
It's hard to not pick the Bray Wyatt matchup. It's very hard. They haven't been really using Shinsuke like I think they should. They matched him up with Rusev to do nothing. I'm gonna have to say that since we both listed Shinsuke versus Aleister Black, that's just gonna have to be the one that wins out of the two.
Great minds think alike.
That was a great match.
Matt, let me talk to you for a minute. The WWE has a lot of problems, in my opinion, right now. Right? Something has to change with the outline that they are putting together for these shows. There's way too much talking at the beginning of the shows. There's too many talk shows.
Yeah.
People just need to stop running their mouths. Like, stop giving speeches and having 8 guys come to the ring before the show even starts. Like, open the show with a match.
It's way more promos.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
That's for sure.
For sure.
Like at an all-time high rate.
Yes. Too much talking going on. I mean, Raw last week had a couple really good matches that could have started the show, but instead they wanted to open with somebody talking. Like that triple threat tag match could have been the opening match of the show. It would have made a lot more sense. If you opened your Twitter or your Bleacher Report or anything, they were all previewing that match before Raw started. Yet they put that match in the middle of the show. If you're going to be previewing a match like that, open with it. Like, I'm tuning in because I want to see that. I want to tune in and hear 8 guys talk about why they deserve a shot at the United States title.
Sure. And I mean, that title hasn't even really been defended in a while.
No, ever since Ray got hurt and had to give it up, but everybody's just running their mouth talking about it rather than being about it. Or open with something more entertaining. Like the two most entertaining things to me right now is the Firefly Funhouse with Bray Wyatt. Like, open a Raw with that, or open with a 24/7 title segment, because that's been entertaining at least.
Yeah, it has been.
Like, R-Truth is doing a great job keeping me interested because he can do so much that you don't know what he's gonna do.
He's bought into his character big time too over the years. I mean, since Goldust days and everything.
Yes.
Like Little Jimmy and all that
Yes.
stuff. Like, he is is just down for the ride. He's just down for whatever they want to do with him, and he's going to do it well.
But yet he can still put together a really, really good match.
He's super athletic. He's like, he's like up there. He's like 49, 50. I think he's like 51 almost. They had like a birthday for him. Not a birthday party, but you know, all the wrestlers kind of celebrated him. I think that was like a house show, if I'm not mistaken.
Didn't Goldust throw a party or something? When they were still together? I don't know.
I wouldn't doubt it. I miss Goldust and Booker T. If anything, if I miss like a time with Goldust, is whenever he was tormenting Booker T and they was a tag team. That was perfect. That was perfect.
Yes. Like, to me, like, the biggest problem I have right now is too much talking, and they gotta find a better way to get me hooked on the start of the show. Like, start with the women or something. Like on SmackDown, that not this week, but I believe it was last week, that triple threat match was really good, where Alexa Bliss won, become #1 contender. That was really good. Open with that. I mean, I'm just tired of seeing the same crap being spewed out. Like speaking of too much crap being spewed out, because we're seeing too much Shane McMahon. Not only is he on one show, he's on both shows, taking up everybody's time, taking up the Miz's time. He's in there talking to Revival now. Drew McIntyre's being wasted, being his little puppet, being his little whatever he's being. Like,
He's got his posse. Shane's always got his posse. I mean, not always, but he's kind of going back to that.
Yeah.
This time he has legit guys.
Like, unless they're gonna like legitimately reform the corporation with Shane at the helm, like I could maybe get into that. But if they form a stable like Shane and the corporation with the Revival and maybe Baron Corbin and McIntyre, then they have to form a stable to go against it, and they're not doing that. They got the Miz and Shane hating each other, Roman's hating Shane, Elias is doing whatever Shane tells him to do.
It's too much. Like, I think that they're actually getting more corny because it's too much writing. It's too much creative. They're not.
But it's not even creative. It's not even creative.
Like, they're trying to redo stuff, but they're not doing it right. And certain things only work once, you know?
Right.
And it's like, for the older fans, we can be like, yeah, they did this with such and such. For the younger fans, you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So it's only, some of the stuff they're doing is going over people's heads. The wrestlers can't even fully buy into it because they're not with it to begin with. So
I think, and like you said, booking and trying to book the same things, like, we're getting too many repeats. Like, Stomping Ground's about to be a repeat of Super Showdown.
yeah, I mean, like with your girl Becky, it's like, is she supposed to be Stone Cold? Is she supposed to be, Becky Lynch? Or what? Like, I don't know what they really have planned for these people, because it seems like they're trying to reenact things that's already happened.
Right.
Like, Becky Lynch had a whole different attitude and came to this point where, which, in her case, maybe they got it more right than wrong, because I always said she needed that change.
Mm-hmm.
But now we got like Chad Gable out here looking like a gym coach, he's dressed up.
He looks like the Spirit Squad back on the Spirit Squad. Like, but with that, now he's not in green, he's in maroon.
He's one of the guys that I hope it works out for. So
yeah. He has a lot of talent. And that's one thing, like, stop booking the same guys in the same matches. Like, there's different ways to build a rivalry than just having the guys face each other week after week. Like, Cesaro and Ricochet are both great, and they had a good match. And then they had the good match again. And then the next week they did it again. Like, I don't need to see the same guys against the same guys every week. You can have a rivalry starting, they can face each other once, and then the next week you could have Cesaro come out and sit at the announcer table and talk about what he doesn't like about Ricochet in the ring. And that builds up the rivalry. And then maybe cost Ricochet a win, or vice versa. Ricochet could come out and taunt Cesaro from outside the ring while Cesaro's beating up Chad Gable or Shelton Benjamin. Or there's so much talent on the roster that we saw all this talent in the ring. 50 guys, 50 talented guys were in the ring. But how many of those guys do we see on a show every week? 10. And it's the 10 that weren't in the Battle Royal.
How many of those guys are we going to remember were even in the Battle Royal?
Yeah, in a week we'll forget him again. Like, I keep forgetting Shelton Benjamin is back on the roster.
He's back.
And he is so talented.
Who else?
He could be a champion. Shelton Benjamin could be a champion. If they package him right, he could be a champion.
They had a lot of guys on there that were really good at one point in time. What's that guy I was talking about earlier from the Cruiserweight division? Brian Kendricks.
Yeah.
I like Brian Kendricks. They had him in there, but he got thrown out like a bad habit. Mojo Riley, what is up with that guy?
I don't even know. Mojo Rawley. But yeah, he's still an athlete and talented. He's doing these promos. We haven't seen him wrestle in I don't know how long.
I think he wrestled like a month ago, but I don't think it was against anybody important because he snapped out. He's got like fake veins panning on his face now.
I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
He's found himself. That's what he said.
It'll be interesting.
I seen him in an R-Truth skit too. That was pretty fun.
But the WWE needs to get back to letting the wrestling tell the story rather than trying to have writers writing scripts for these guys. Like I want more matches. Like in a 3-hour show on Raw, there should be 10 matches. How many are we getting? 5, 6? In 3 hours.
That's crazy.
It's insane. Like that is not enough. And if this AEW is going to be for real, then WWE has to step up their game.
Big time.
Big time.
I'm gonna be watching because I'm curious and I keep hearing about it. But if they have more matches than WWE has, they're already kind of winning.
Oh, for sure.
And then you gotta think about the quality of the matches. If they have quality matches and they're having more matches,
Look at that roster. There's going to be some quality matches. There's going to be quality matches with that roster.
and there's gonna be more people who come over too that leave WWE.
Oh, absolutely. Guys like Shelton Benjamin would jump over. You might lose some really talented guys on the roster because you're not utilizing them. And the WWE needs to realize that. They need to fix it, or they're going to lose, or they're going to have to buy out AEW. One of the two. Like, they need to show more people in the ring each week so that a ranking system or a standing system can be more utilized. So if a guy goes on a 3-match win streak...
They did that on SmackDown for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
What was that all about?
They were testing to see if it would work.
All they did was piss Randy Orton.
Boys and girls, it is now time for Push or Bury.
Let's get after it. Who you got for me? Give me some names. What we got?
You want some names?
Let me hear them.
I'll give you names. I got Adam Cole. I'm going to switch it up on you. We're going to go NXT.
Okay.
So we're going to take the NXT champion, the newly crowned NXT champion from the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, baby. Are we going to push or bury Adam Cole?
I think we're going to keep Adam Cole right where he is.
So we're going to push him on NXT.
I'm going to push him on NXT. I like him as the NXT champion. I like the Undisputed Era. What the WWE can't do is try and push him to the main roster right now. They just had a huge influx of guys pushed to the main roster. Ricochet, Black, Heavy Machinery, Viking Warriors, or whatever their name is. War Raiders, Viking Raiders. What they change it to now? I don't even remember.
Viking Raiders.
Those guys need to be in the Tag Team Championship
Viking
picture.
Raiders.
But anyway.
They can't be War no more.
Is that what it was?
War, yeah. That's the one that's never been back. Because they were the
Okay,
experience
yeah.
and all that. And they still do the War chant though, don't they?
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, yeah. Anyways, you familiar with the tag division on NXT at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
So we got the newly crowned tag champs I got on here, the Street Profit.
I'll drink the Kool-Aid for now. For now. I need to see more. I'll drink the Kool-Aid from now.
You gonna drink the Kool-Aid?
Yeah.
Let me see. All right. My guy, I don't know. This dude just grew on me.
Okay, who is it?
But I want to know, if it was up to you, are we going to push or bury the Velveteen Dream, the North American champion? Dream over or dream on?
Dream, baby, dream. I like Velveteen Dream, man. I like, he's really great at on the mic and in promos. He's really athletic, really good in the ring. I like his character. It's kind of has this flair of gold dust mixed with, what was that guy that used to come out in WCW? Norman Smiley.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a little Norman Smiley in it, man. That's a name right there. Name
He works in the performance center.
I know. He was always really good.
I wasn't fond of him back then.
But
I
you
remember
see
him
it.
though.
But now that I see it.
No. He stuck with you. He's one of those guys that
Yes.
like him or not.
I would like to see Velveteen Dream maybe push for an NXT title. I definitely pushing Velveteen Dream.
Norman Smiley. I'm gonna have him on the next Push or Bury. The 24-hour title.
Okay.
Are we gonna push or bury that? As a whole,
I like what they're doing with it right now. So I want to stay where they're at right now. R-Truth's doing a great job. Jinder Mahal's doing a great job. People chasing people. You never know. I like the segments, the videos they're posting online, because they're making you remember, hey, this is 24 hours. So on 2 o'clock on Wednesday, they might post a video online of where R-Truth just got his title taken at a golf course, but then he wins it back real quick.
He's stuck in luggage right now.
now.
Hiding.
Push the 24-hour title as long as they don't change it.
Okay. So one more on here. This one is a circumstantial type of push or bury. Because we had Brock Lesnar threatening to cash in quite a few times already now. At least twice. And he failed. So are we going to push this whole concept, because they were coming out, oh, he's going to cash in. Now they're saying he's not going to announce his next cash in. So are we pushing this whole Brock Lesnar is lurking thing, or do we need to get this out the way?
No, I want to push this. I think Brock's doing a really good job with it. We're getting to see more Brock than we have before. Heyman's doing a good job, not even knowing. Like, Heyman's like, Brock, I told everyone you were going to cash in. And Brock's like, Friday, we're doing it Friday. Then Friday comes and Paul Heyman slips and falls, and Brock doesn't get a chance to cash in. I like it. I like what. Push it.
All right.
It's 5 pushes in a row, baby.
5 pushes in a row. I guess there's some good guys then I brought up.
All right, I got some for you.
What you got?
Let's start with my girl, Alexa Bliss, in the championship picture.
I love Alexa Bliss, but I'm going to have to bury this because I don't think, part of me just believes that she's not fully ready to be competing. And I think that's partially why they have Nikki Cross fighting for her right now. I don't want them to have, so she was supposed to be in Money in the Bank and they pulled her out. I don't want this to be another situation where she's already got this match scheduled now to go against Bayley. Them coming up with another excuse to not have her in it. Don't tease me like that. I don't appreciate it at all. So I want to bury her for right now because I think it's one of those Kevin Durant situations where she's better off sitting because she is already in historic waters. She's going to have more chances. You know, Daniel Bryan came back. I believe she can come back and be who she was, but I don't think right now is the time.
Sticking with the women and picking up on your NXT theme, Shayna Baszler, NXT Women's Champion.
I like Io Shirai. That's Kairi Sane's friend. That's her best friend. And she's still down there on NXT. She hasn't been on NXT as long. In fact, I think she's only been over there for a year. Io Shirai. She idolizes Rey Mysterio, so she comes out to the ring with the mask on. I love her wrestling style. I think she's got a way better moonsault, if not the best moonsault in wrestling right now. She's the goddess of the sky or something like that. Her nickname has something to do with her aerial assaults because she's that good. She's very aggressive. She can't speak English very well. That's my favorite female in NXT, next to Leah Ripley, who's over in the UK brand, and Toni Storm. They got some heat, man. I'm telling you, with this women's division. But not to get too far off. Back to Shayna Baszler. On one hand, I would love to see one of these other ladies dethrone her. But on the other hand, I love what she's doing down there in NXT. I think she's the right person to be the champion for a while. She's been choking people out. She's no games. I don't think that she should come up until her whole group is ready to come up so they can take on the 4 horsewomen that are on the main roster, because they are also the 4 horsewomen of the MMA world. So for that reason, we're going to push Shayna Baszler as the NXT champion. Keep her down there like you did with Adam Cole Bebe.
Staying with the women, my girl, the man, Becky Lynch.
What about her?
Her championship run, her reign as Raw Women's Champion.
So what women do we have on Raw that you can remember right now?
Naomi.
Dana Brooke.
Yeah.
Naomi's on Raw? She came over in a mix-up or something?
Yeah, because the Usos came over.
Evans? Is she on
Evans.
SmackDown?
No, she's on
She's
Raw.
on Raw. Lacey Evans.
Natty.
Natalia's just back from injury.
Yeah.
Did Riot go over to SmackDown but is injured still?
I don't know if she moved. I don't know. She's still injured.
What about her group? Are they still on Raw? I haven't
Liv
seen
Morgan,
them.
I think, is on SmackDown. I think they kind of split up because I think Liv Morgan is on SmackDown, and Ruby and
Logan
stayed on Raw. I think.
Becky's got to stay the champ. We're going to push that. Well, I mean, unless Lacey Evans, but she just came. Who else? I mean, think of somebody who's won the belt that fast. It's happened.
Yeah.
It's happened.
I mean,
But I didn't know. I mean, more times than not, it doesn't go well. I want the best for Lacey Evans, so Becky Lynch has got to dig deep because I think that she's getting to the bottom of her bag. But we're going to have to push this a little longer. She's got to keep them titles. Well, title. Sorry, singular. No more 2 belts.
let's hear your opinion on your girl, Charlotte Flair.
Oh, I can't
on
go that
SmackDown.
high. I can't do it, but
Should she
bury
be
that.
pushed?
Bury that. Charlotte Flair needs to sit down, okay? Not all the way. She needs to just, I'm tired, bro. Like, every other month, she's the champion. Okay?
This is your girl.
That's cool and all, but let somebody else. I told you they got a lot of women down there in NXT and on the UK brand. I want Leah Ripley to come over to the women's division on the main roster. She's ready. So is Toni Storm. They can build that brand up all they want, but they need to get these ladies out here, because what are you going to do in the Royal Rumble? You're going to pull these ladies over, and we're all going to be saying the same thing right after that. Okay, I can't even name 3-4 people on Raw. Like, who's on SmackDown?
SmackDown has more talent, I think.
The Iconics.
Oh, Alexa Bliss is technically on Raw, but she's challenging for the SmackDown title. And so is Nikki Cross is on Raw, technically.
Right.
Forgot about that. But SmackDown, you got Ember Moon, Bayley's the champ. You got Charlotte. You got
Charlotte needs to keep the belt or get out of the picture, because she just loses it to get it back, loses it to get it back, loses it to get it back.
she's trying to get to that.
Give
dad's
her,
number.
we'll give her a Brock Lesnar reign then, if that's the case. I'm tired of her losing the belt and getting it back if she's going to just get it back anyways. Why is she losing it and getting it back so many times? You learn from your mistakes, man. You don't be watching people outside the ring whenever they come out there unless they touch you. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ!
Now, since you got so heated with the women, I'm gonna change it up. We're gonna go to a guy here who Drew McIntyre as Shane McMahon.
Push that!
As Shane McMahon's puppet.
Push it. Because eventually he's going to kick Shane McMahon's tail. And guess what happens then? Shane McMahon sends his goons on Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre then becomes a face. He's been a heel the whole time. He becomes a face. He takes over Roman Reigns' former spot at the top. He becomes the WWE champion after he takes out whoever the WWE champion is at the time. Who? And then he unifies the titles.
What?
Drew McIntyre, that guy.
Unifies
the titles. Beats Bobby Lashley, who beats Brock Lesnar, who beat Seth Rollins, man.
You have lost your mind. All right, everybody, we got tapping in segment right here. I'm going to bring you a story I found very interesting. I'm going to leave my opinion out of it, and I want you to comment below the video what you think. Superstar Velveteen Dream says the WWE's faults should be put on the superstars, not on Vince McMahon. I quote, "Let's play a game. Is it fair to critique Vince? I mean, after all, the WWE is a form of entertainment. You do know WWE is TV, right? Right? WWE is a TV show on a cable network television. By who, you ask? Answer, Vince McMahon. Evil boss on screen and director of his TV show off screen. Raw, Smackdown, 205 Live, etc. George Lucas directed Star Wars. Vince McMahon directs Raw, Smackdown, 205 Live. And he's directed everything you've watched in the WWE the last 40 years. Yes, John, I am sure. Point is, when TV sucks, it's because of the actors and the entertainers and stuntmen failed to entertain you. Vince can write all day. It's your favorites that have to make it entertaining. Star Wars was great in the 90s too. The new ones suck because the new actors suck. And yes, this is still a WWE thread. Game over, I mean dream over. Dream did not, that's end quote. Velveteen Dream did catch some flack for this story. It is reported that he doesn't have the pressures maybe that the main roster has. So fans, followers, listeners, comment below what you think about Dream saying that the fault of the WWE should be put on the superstars and not Vince McMahon. Matt, what's your story for us? All right, everybody. It's what we've all been waiting for. Over the top. We got our topics. We got our brains. I got Mac. You ready?
Let's do it.
First up, WWE recycling old WCW pay-per-views.
Over the top on that one. Not much to say there.
Third hour of Raw being more like the Attitude Era.
We'll hang tough. That sounds interesting. WWE RingsideNews.com writes, Mick Foley says WWE is trying to bring Raw's third hour back to the Attitude Era. The idea is the third hour is going to get rougher, wilder, and more unpredictable. When I was GM, I knew the people were breaking towards the SmackDown show because it was the darling of the internet. Foley also states, the idea, why don't you try having a third hour? I was like, giant albatross around the neck. A third hour is really difficult. I think it's an idea to have the third hour more unpredictable, more like the Attitude Era. He was saying that a third hour to SmackDown, it's hard enough to have two. That's probably why they have all those promos. But more wrestling, I think it would be easier to do it that way. I'm for that. Yeah, I'm for that.
My whole thing is why wait to the third hour to
because I think the whole
I don't understand
we're in like a
that.
PG era of wrestling right now, so
Which I know,
think,
which needs to just go away.
I think the network might have cleared the third hour, one of those type of deals. As far as the time, the third hour starts around like 9 o'clock. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock hour. So I think
I got you.
because like a lot of shows, a lot of networks, you see around that time they allow a lot more cuss words. I've noticed that in the past and present. A lot of networks loosened up around, the B word and just things of the sort around that time.
I got you. That
might
makes a little more sense.
So another one is Goldberg wrestling again. Do you want to hang tough or?
Man, all I'm gonna say is
I'm gonna hang tough on this one.
I'm gonna hang tough. So, and all I'm gonna say is that Goldberg is a great. He's got to get better. What him and Undertaker put out there was dangerous. It was sloppy, and if he's in a match like that with somebody else, he could really get hurt. Yeah, so that's all I got on the topic.
Well, you know me. I had to dig deeper. I got a quote from Goldberg. Well, it's a tweet he put out. Knocked myself out. Thought I could finish. Love my fans, but let you down. Everyone else that found pleasure, hope you're happy. He sounds super disappointed. I think we kind of knew what we were going to get. Unlike The Undertaker, Goldberg can still go, in my opinion. He just has to get better at taking care of himself, timing things out a little bit. And I mean, that comes with ring rust, a lot of things with Goldberg, in my opinion, because he never was. I mean, the way you explained Becky Lynch to me and Stone Cold, the comparison that you did, as far as them not being the most athletic and everything, Goldberg's not the most athletic to me. I mean, I know he's athletic enough. He's a freak when it comes to strength. He didn't have a very big moveset. Is pretty much what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So, for him to also have ring rust, it stands out a little more with him.
Yeah, I agree.
Possible cash-in scenarios for Brock Lesnar. You want to hang tough, or do you want to throw that over the top?
Just for a second, I just think keep it unpredictable. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I agree there.
I don't want to predict saying, oh, he's gonna cash in at SummerSlam, or he's gonna cash in at this pay-per-view, or he's gonna wait until Royal Rumble next year or whatnot. Just keep it unpredictable. I would rather him cash in on like a SmackDown or a Raw anyway, because it's more unpredictable, more shock factor.
He's kind of establishing himself as Mr. SummerSlam, honestly. So keep an eye out for activity if he doesn't do anything at this upcoming pay-per-view. SummerSlam is a big possibility, biggest show of the summer. Mm-hmm. That's a good vantage point for him to get the belt and bring it to WrestleMania, have a good, nice reign, or Royal Rumble. That'd be the next biggest pay-per-view, probably. Survivor Series, something like that. Get it at a major pay-per-view to the next major pay-per-view, maybe hold it through one in between. Orton calls out Finn Balor, Aleister Black on Twitter.
It is. I'm going to go over the top of that one. It is what it is. I would like to see Orton in a title picture somehow, but...
Yeah, I'll throw that one over the top as well. Dana White confirms WWE and Brock Lesnar are done.
No, Brock Lesnar's done with UFC.
Oh, yeah, that's right. UFC.
Yeah. I'm going to say is, if Dana White's saying it, I don't necessarily believe it, because money talks. And if enough money's thrown either way, Brock and Daniel Cormier might still fight. At least I'm holding out for it.
I don't really care about the UFC. Next.
Possible Undertaker's next match.
Next.
I'm going to hang tough because I have one person I want to see him go against, and I kind of set it up here discreetly all night, and it's having these two guys stay next to each other. I would love to see Sting one more time if he could still go. I haven't seen Sting in a long time. But Sting versus Undertaker would always be one I would pay to see.
New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion 2019 results. Hang tough.
I'm gonna hang tough.
I'm gonna hang tough. So you had, you know what? I can't even pronounce most of these names, so I'm gonna throw that one over the top too. You know, those
Predictions for WWE Stomping Ground. Do you want to go there yet, or save that for the next one?
throw that one over the top.
We'll be back to that next episode. John Cena joining Fast and the Furious 9.
You could talk about that if you want. I don't even know.
Man, there's been 9 Fast and the Furiouses. That was the story for me. It wasn't that John Cena was going to be in a movie. It's like, holy cow, there's been 9 of those things now?
I think I've seen 7.
I haven't seen the last one. Cash and Hobbs, or what is it?
I might have
Something
seen
Hobbs?
6. I don't know. That's the newest one coming
Newest
out. That's
one,
not
yeah.
Fast and Furious. That's just something
But
from
it's-
Fast and Furious.
But they're counting that as number 8.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, then I've seen 5.
Right.
I don't know either.
Last but not least, got anything to share once again on the Sasha Banks saga?
$9:53 a.m. June 9th, 2019. So let's hang tough because we've got some activity here. She posted an older picture of herself sitting in the corner at the NXT Performance Center. And the caption on it read, "There was nowhere to go but everywhere."
And all I gotta say about Sasha Banks is apparently she still wants out of her contract. I think her and Vince sat down for a meeting. Man, Sasha Banks needs to get over herself. That's all I got to say.
She hasn't appeared since they lost the titles. I guess she's protesting creative.
I'll throw her over the top.
She threw herself over the top because now her partner is the women's champion.
Yep.
They apparently came to some kind of agreement and she could return at some point in time this summer. But she wants to be pushed at all times. She's made that very clear.
She's a baby. Spoiled brat. Ain't got time for that.
Nobody has got time for that. That's why they are letting her sit.
All right, Mac, we talked a little bit about it earlier in the night. Let's go. This Week in Wrestling, overall opinions. We're going to start with the Super Showdown. Overall opinions of that event. What do you have for me?
Overall opinion of the Super Showdown. Overall, we got what we expected. Again, at least if you expect some corn, some cheese. Overall, I was disappointed. The Super Showdown was a super letdown.
Yeah, I agree. It was... They hyped it up. Even in one of the promos, like we've said before, they said on the stage, like a WrestleMania-like pay-per-view. It was not.
Pyros, all that
Yeah.
was cool.
Yeah, it was...
The intros were the best thing about the showdown. Roman Reigns finally did his fist to the ground.
Yeah.
We saw boom boom before and after matches.
Yeah.
This past week in wrestling, no, I'm not feeling this past week in wrestling. No, Bray Wyatt didn't wrestle. I don't know who these tag teams are. The women's division is slowing down. We're getting rematch after rematch, injury after injury. From the showdown to this past week, and a little bit, since Money in the Bank, I've been kind of like, what's going on? What about you?
Well, I think this past week after Showdown, right? So we had the Showdown, and it had some bright spots. It had some good matches. I think the same can be said for Raw and Smackdown. They had some bright spots, but overall, it wasn't good. Too much talking, not enough wrestling. The bright spots have been some of the promos. I think Bray Wyatt's still delivering. That dude is creeping me out more and more every time I see him. Aleister Black. Those guys, I want to see them back in the ring. There just needs to be more in-ring competitions. On Raw this past week, I believe that triple threat tag team match was pretty good. The Revival are the new Raw tag team champions. I think that was a good match. On SmackDown, I think the 6-man tag at the end of the night, New Day versus Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Dolph Ziggler. I think that was a really well done match. Those guys all delivered, so that was another bright spot. But all in all, there's just too much talking, not enough getting down and wrestling.
And that is what has been my main problem, is why I didn't see that triple threat match, because I went to sleep. That's what I feel about this past
And I
week.
think that's the general theme of what WWE's doing. They're giving us everything over and over again. They're regurgitating the same guys through. They're putting us to sleep week after week.
Moving forward, it's already been confirmed. Well, you can kind of tell they're leaning towards a bunch of rematches at Battleground.
Stomping Ground. See? I got you calling it Battleground. Look at you. Stomping Ground.
I'm not interested in this pay-per-view already. I haven't been interested in a pay-per-view since WrestleMania.
Here's the thing with Stomping Ground. Yes, we're getting a lot of matches that they did at Super Showdown. But I think that the matches at Super Showdown ended in a way that left the door open so that they can maybe close the door and finalize things up on our own U.S. soil. So that's what I'm hoping for. We got a cage match between Dolph and Kofi I'm looking forward to. Hopefully it lives up to the hype. You have... Okay, that might be the only one I'm looking forward to.
Alexa Bliss.
Alexa, if she wrestles, I know they keep teasing us. She's probably going to step down and Nikki Cross is going to get a title match or something crazy. I don't know. Yeah.
Or Charlotte Flair somehow gets that spot.
And she'll win, and then she'll lose it to Alexa Bliss in a week.
Whenever she's cleared.
But
officially.
moving forward, I think the WWE needs to change things. I hope that we see Finn Balor versus Andrade again at Stomping Ground. And maybe Andrade can win this time. I hope Samoa Joe gets to defend his title against a worthy competitor at Stomping Ground. I hope the tag team titles are defended at Stomping Ground. Yeah.
I just want to see more fights.
Once again, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. Mac.
Immaculate Tone Productions. That's Immaculate Tone Productions. On Instagram, find us at Immaculate Tone. On Twitter, find us at Immaculate Tone. On Facebook, find us at Immaculate Tone. By the time you get to the E in Tone, Productions will follow. YouTube, please subscribe. Share. Tell your grandma. She knows some wrestlers. I don't mind. Let her know about us. Mac and Bubs will be back.
We'll be back.